I wish, yeah. But yeah, March 7th is going to be that time, and then that's just the beginning. We are, of course, going to have our 3s as well, which will be later on as well, and those will be smaller and also much more economical as well. So, all right, thanks, guys. Oh, yeah.
I heard there was a door prize. Which car are you giving away?
Oh, that was the last week.
I was going to say, we always kind of like joke with people. People are like, yeah, I love that one. Can I get that out here right now? And I'm just like, hey, I tell you what, if you find a way to get that out the door, it's yours. Yep. You know? Okay, guys, any other questions? No? All right, guys, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, it's been a long road for Rivian. I alternated between this T-shirt or my first mile T-shirt from the off-road factory test drive in Normal, Illinois, and I hope these guys will be happy to hear that my dear old dad was a recent Rivian customer. I believe he received it on December 12th, got his R1T, and he has only done a little less than 5,000 miles on it, but 3,960 of those miles were pulling a 28-foot Airstream trailer. Got home this weekend after an epic road trip. Even Electrify America never failed him a single time. It was amazing. Yeah.
What kind of range is
He didn't plan on a leg longer than 150 miles, and the back bumper of the Airstream says, go slow, grandparents at play. Yes, warning, grandparents at play. But he had a great trip and CC'd me. I'll send y'all a bit of the travel log with pictures from the Louisiana swamp to the Arizona desert, all in one trip in his Rivian. And he says he couldn't get any relaxation kicking back in the RV parks because just a steady stream of silverbacks wanting to know how he got that rig there with that truck. So I hope there's a referral program for Rivian. And I was just thinking, it's been, I believe, 4 years since Jim Chen and myself, and I think Grace and others testified before the Washington legislature on the very first iteration of the Rivian bill to allow direct sales in Washington. So the fight goes on. Please support him in that. Well, let's get on to our business meeting, as this is the annual business meeting of SEVA. And we have some reports. Billy, are you ready to make, yes? Billy, can you make a secretary's report from the last meeting?
Maybe.
All right. Oh, got the bifocals out for the little screen.
I'm Billy, I'm the outgoing secretary, and this is the annual meeting. The secretary needs to describe what happened at the last annual meeting of February 2023. According to the minutes, I read the sections of the minutes from February 2022, describing the annual meeting back then, and describing board election when Billy Kreuter was re-elected as secretary. And you were elected also then in 2020?
No, that was 22.
In 2022, yeah.
We re-elected.
Right, in 2020.
We elected Jay and Charlie.
That's that. I was getting up to that. Yeah. 2022 was secretary and vice president,
Yes.
right? Yes. Okay, so Grace and I were elected in 2022. And that was pretty much what I reported last year, and we had the treasurer's report as well. The bank balance as of February 1st of last year was $25,517. The board election in 2023 elected Jay and Charlie to respectively president and treasurer, and that was what we did at the annual meeting 1 year ago.
All right.
Thank you, Billy. All right.
On to our treasurer's report.
Okay, so I did a summary from February 1st of 2023 to February 1st of this year. And as Billy mentioned, we started last year out at $25,517. This year, as of February 1st, we had $24,770, That's a decrease of $747 in our treasury. Digging down a little bit more, for income, our primary source of income was from membership dues and donations. We got a total PayPal income of $1,528. And we got another $47 through Amazon Smile. Unfortunately, Amazon Smile has been discontinued, so we won't be able to count on that revenue anymore. We also received $123 in interest from our savings accounts. On the expense side, we spent $2,446. 300 of that went to meeting room rentals for the church last year. So hopefully if we can find free meeting spaces, that'll save us some money going forward. This Secretary of State filing fee for a nonprofit organization was $20. We did a XXX Root Beer car show, which cost $250. Now, XXX Root Beer is closed, but we've heard that there may be other venues for folks that had been holding car shows at XXX. We don't know a lot of details on that yet, but we'll wait and see what comes of that. Our U.S. Post Office box rental fee was $194. The Greenwood Auto Show, which is our biggest expense of the year, cost $1,117. That was to pay for the entry of all the EVs that were shown at the car show, at least through the SEVA organization. We also have a SEVA trophy. We spent $62 on engraving of the trophies. We also, one of the rare times, we actually had to issue a couple of refunds for membership dues. I think one was someone who I guess wasn't happy for some reason, and we issued a refund. And the other one, I think someone inadvertently submitted it twice, and so we had to give that back. So that was another $88 back out. We also spent $329 on badge making materials, so members can receive SEVA badges. And I believe we still have that material for future badges as well. We also spent $185 on a new SEVA projector. And so those were the sum total of our income and expenses.
You didn't give a refund to that first person in 40 years kicked off the SEVA listserv, did you?
Oh,
He is dedicated.
thank you so much, Charlie. It looks like we're in good shape financially, so it's great. But as he said, our major source of income is dues and donations, so we do count on you folks. And then we are going to have a membership report. Mark Schiller has been doing our membership for a number of years. He wasn't able to be here tonight, so we don't actually have up-to-date numbers right now, but we do have a plan the board has been working on to move forward with some membership ideas. And so Rob is going to share with us some of his ideas. Would you like to come up and share a little bit about what we want to do going forward?
Thank you, Grace. Hello. So a few things on membership. When it comes to dues, we're going to start making it easier for you to pay dues by actually getting a notice in your email with a link that you can click and pay, rather than going off into the forest and figuring out which gnome will take your credit card. So we're going to do that. Something else that we're going to do is we're going to start an email list for people in the public who are interested in hearing about the topics that we cover in policy, in statistics, and all sorts of EV-centric news, but they can't necessarily make it here for meetings. So we're going to use that as a way to improve our outreach and attract more members over time. The next thing we're going to do is make it easier for everybody in the club to get involved we're putting in a committee governance so that it'll be very easy for you to volunteer for a committee for a given activity. And actually, I'll run through the committees that we've identified. And what we're going to do is you'll be given an opportunity to sign up for a committee when the minutes for this meeting get circulated. So the way a committee will be organized, there'll be a chair designated from the membership, and then there will also be a board sponsor that works with the chair to administer the committee work, and the board sponsor gets involved whenever there's a need for any type of financial commitment or anything else that involves some commitment on behalf of the club. So right now we have a policy committee, and that one will be chaired by Grace, and as an outgoing board member, and then her board sponsor will be Jay. We'll have a website and tech committee, and Ryan will be the chair for that, and I will be, as soon as I get voted in, his board sponsor. If there's any surprises. And other upcoming committees will be a newsletter communications committee, a meeting logistics committee, an events committee, and a sponsorship committee. We want to formalize our relationships with our sponsors, give them opportunities to make donations of cash and consideration that we can then share with the membership. Grace, I had to jot those down from memory. Did I get all the ones we talked about?
I think
yes.
you did. Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. So coming forward in the next year, we will be coming to you with surveys, asking you about your EV driving experience, and we're going to make the outcome of those surveys available to the public as part of an enticement for people to sign up for the email list. You know, click here for a free download. Oh, can we have your email address? Sure, join the list. More the merrier. So we'll be doing more of that. We'll make it easier for people to get engaged with us at the events, car shows, so that we will produce some more, maybe some videos. What's it like to own a Tesla Model Y? And people will be able to download on their phone and go through that sort of, or a Rivian. Okay, and that's all I have for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rob. The next major item on our agenda is the election, but before we get into the original equitable election policy of Seattle, which is if you voted with your feet to come here, you get to vote in the election. Let's get to know each other better. As is tradition, we ask those of you who are here for the first time or the first time in a long time to stand and tell us a little bit about yourself, your interests, and anything for the good of the order. So if I have a volunteer to play Oprah, oh, Rob, manage the mic, please.
Good. There's one. All right.
Come on up.
Okay, I'll start. Go ahead. Okay, I'm Scott Bushnell, and I'm a former member. I haven't renewed since, I think, 2015. I have recumbent mid-drive bike, a old Mitsubishi K-Car EV, and on Thursday taking delivery of a 2020 Model 3 Tesla. My wife and I attended the national annual meeting 2 weeks ago in San Diego. If anybody's interested in what that was like, I got to take a quick 30-second ride in an Aptera and eyeball all the nifty doodads that they're working on to get that, what they call production intent vehicle on the road, which is pretty cool. I will leave out any expletives. Just amazing stuff. Like, I got to pick up the solar panel for the hood of the car. It's a piece of Gorilla Glass with solar panels embedded in it, and it weighs like 5 or 6 pounds. It is flexible enough that it will probably bend 30 degrees from its shape. And it's just remarkable all the stuff they're doing on that car. So without further ado, next.
Thank you, Scott.
George Holmesy, visitor from Mount Shasta, California. I was around the Bay Area for most of my life. PhD in electrical engineering. Got my start with EVs on a 1999 Solectria Force, and I have a 99 Ford Ranger electric, if you can keep it running. And I recently offloaded the Force to a worthy young buck who was going to do another rebuild on it, and moved up to a Model 3, and looking for a truck right now. I was one of the lead design engineers on Makani Power's 1 megawatt electric wind energy system. Some very interesting motors and drive systems there. 1700 volt, 300 amp drive systems. Fairly serious. Hit me up if you have questions.
So what's your name?
Oh, Gio Holmesy, sorry.
George Holmes.
Oh, George. Yeah. Yeah, I go by Gio. Oh, I got a pink.
Hello, my name is Jace. I've been a bike messenger for a long time. Thank you. And I got a Model 3 Tesla about a year ago. Put 26,000 miles on it in a year, and then it was a Model 3 rear wheel only LFP, and so it just kind of slides too easily. So in December I got a Model 3 Performance, Model Y Performance, and it's like full tinted windows and just like cruising around the city doing like DoorDash, and I have a commercial courier company as well that I do deliveries for. So heard about this club and thought I'd check it out, so very cool.
Sorry, what's your name?
My name's Chase.
Chase?
Jace, like Jason.
Jason?
Yeah. Thank you, Jace.
Jace being the control module of an Allerton Niagara building control system. JACE, yes. All right. Anyone else?
I forgot to mention the reason I'm here is I tailed Charlie's Z3 into the parking lot the other day and accosted him. So
Excellent.
You can thank Charlie.
Well, those encounters are still the best. I was a little bit tardy to the board meeting before this meeting because for the first time in a long time, there was a lineup at one of the few remaining CHAdeMO stations. And I got to meet a former Afghan Army sergeant who was on his way to night school and needed a charge on his depreciated Leaf in order to get there. So made a new friend, recruited a new member. Yes, sir, come on over.
Bob Horst. I've been driving EVs since the EV1 and a couple of RAV4 EVs and Leaf and a Model S, and now I have a Model 3. I was in California. I just traded in my zero gas California plates for e-car Washington plates.
You got the custom plate that says e-car?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shame on Siva for never claiming such. Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Arya Tayebi. I work with Seattle City Light on their fleet electrification program. So you may have seen my manager, Ethan Esch. He told me to come, and I had also seen Siva at a few other events. I was at GTSC this past August. And excited to hear from you. I work on the fleet electrification program, like I said, also multifamily, and we're also getting the public charging program going. So if you have any suggestions for Seattle, for the Seattle City territory, where you would like to see chargers, please come speak to me. And excited to hear all the exciting things that Siva does and getting on that list so I can get all the information. Thank you. My name is Arya Tayebi, by the way. Thank you.
How do you spell that?
It's spelled A-R-Y-A. Last name is Tayebi. I also have cards, so.
And do you drive a Nissan Aria?
I do not, but I get that. Also, yeah, in Las Vegas too, I have a hotel named after me.
All right. Well, thank you. It's great to have City Light represented here. You're among friends. Just know one of your forebears got tarred and feathered when they showed up at the dawn of the revolution and said, "We're going to do DC fast charging, and we're going to have a fixed fee to initiate the session on the order of $10 to $12." Yeah. And Siva revolted, and they went back to the drawing board, and we got an equitable rate.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diana. I have no background in electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I just took possession of my R1T on Christmas Eve. It's red, and I love it. But I'm new. I'm green. I am green, and I am here to learn. So thank you for, I think it was the Emerald City Rivian Club that made the announcement about this meeting, which I started following and wanted to start doing some events with them. And so I'm here to just figure this out and embrace it. I came from an Audi A5 to this, and in full transparency, as I'm still learning, I still held on to my 20-year-old Subaru little Forester just to make sure while I'm pushing through this learning curve. But the Rivian, there are many plans that are already in set for it, and I'm really thrilled with it. I just want to keep learning about this stuff, and keep learning about policy. I did the most recent vote as well that just went before Washington, and I'm understanding the more that I'm learning that there needs to be more proactive participation and learning and becoming more aware of the things I need to do to be a proactive, responsible electric vehicle driver. So thank you.
What's the most important first lesson that you learned?
The most important first lesson that I learned?
When you took possession of your car.
Oh, God.
Trick question.
Is that a trick question?
No, share.
Well, sure, plug it in every night, yeah. Exactly. Plug it in every night to not wear down the battery, right? So, yeah. So, thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Diana. And know that you are no longer an Audi as far as Siva's concerned. You're an innie with the club.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Amanda. That's my husband, Buddy, back there. According to my YouTube feed, I'm a complete EV nerd. Been driving EVs for so long, I actually don't know how to drive a regular car anymore. Oh, sorry. So we've had a couple of Teslas, and now we just have one Tesla and the Rivian R1T. So
fantastic.
Hello, my name is David. I am new to this community. I run the Emerald City Rivian Club. So we have just over 800 members now, which is awesome. We've done a ton of events across Washington. I think last year we had 25 events, ranging from just like a coffee chat and cars and coffee to off-roading and camping weekends and everything in between. So super excited to be a part of this community now as well, and can't wait to do more with you guys and kind of see the EV adoption grow overall. So thank you for being here.
What's your name again? David.
All right, thank you, David. Well, it's wonderful to have not only a handful of newbies, but some extremely experienced first-timers show up to SIVA. And Scott, that's just not some old Mitsubishi K car. That's an iMeave, and mine has 157,000 miles on it. And I also have a Ranger EV upgraded to lithium iron phosphate. We have several in the club.
So I'm an old timer, 1980, started in the club here. But what I'm here to announce is that I have taught 3 people in my neighborhood to drive electric cars and to buy electric cars. All it takes is to put their tail feathers in the driver's seat, have them drive it. And I've done that 3 times. My neighbor Charlie has a plug-in hybrid. Ian up the street has a new Aria. The Aria.
Like that guy.
And down the other street, 2 Bolts, all thanks to the Seattle EV Association and your previous President Emeritus, Stephen Lowe. Thank you.
Watch out, Steve. Thank you for that late-breaking introduction, President ex officio for life, Stephen Lowe. All right. Any other introductions? All right. Let's get back to the business agenda. And we have an impartial party with us to run the election tonight, being outgoing Vice President Grace Roomer.
And thank you to all the new folks who are here. I just wanted to say that we're all about advocacy, because the best way to convert somebody from a gas car to go electric is that personal experience of somebody who has been there and done it. And so all of you are the best advertising that electric vehicles could possibly want. So thank you for wanting to come and get involved with advocacy. So at our annual meeting, according to our bylaws, this is how we're going to conduct our election for new board members. We do have 4 board members, and we elect 2 new ones each year for a 2-year term. So this year it's going to be the secretary and the vice president roles who are up. Section 5.4 of the bylaws outlines the annual meeting and says the annual meeting of SEVA shall be held in the month of February at such time and location as is designated by the board of directors in a notice to the membership, which would be our new location here. Everybody like the new location? Then section 4.4.1 says the directors of SEVA shall be at least 3, but not more than 9 in number. Within these numbers, the board of directors may fill vacated positions when an elected director leaves before the end of his or her term. Unfilled positions may not be appointed, but must be filled by election pursuant to section 4.4.2, which you might wonder, what does that say? Well, I'm going to tell you.
No, please don't.
The directors shall be elected by the persons entitled to vote at the annual meeting of SEVA. The persons who are qualified or entitled to vote, it says, are not outlined in the bylaws. Traditionally, they have been everybody who wants to come and attend the annual meeting gets to vote in it. So we're going to ask tonight, if you have signed up on the sign-in sheet, then you get to vote. So anybody who has not signed in on the sign-up sheet, where did it end up? Who has it?
It got collected.
Yeah, it got collected. Okay, good. We'll just make sure everybody gets signed in on that. Okay. Okay, so then directors, the terms of each director shall be for 2 years and staggered such that the terms of approximately 1/2 the directors shall end each year. A director's service on the board shall be limited to no more than 5 consecutive 2-year terms. Provided, however, following a 3-year absence from the board, such a director may once again stand for re-election. The term of each director shall commence on the date of the annual meeting of SEVA. So we will be passing on the gavel tonight to some new people. Okay, and that is where all that the bylaws has to say. So at this point, we're going to introduce our candidates for the 2 board positions that are open. First, we have for the vice president position, I'd like to introduce Rob Mathewson back here. Raise your hand, Rob. Thank you very much. And then for the position of secretary of the board, we have Eric Eskelson right here. Excellent. Good. They have volunteered and would be glad to serve.
And stuff the ballot box. Okay.
Okay, we're going to close the nominations then, and I believe it would be up to our president to call for a vote. We're going to do it by raising hands. I believe our quorum needs to be 20 people, and I think we're well over 20 people tonight, so that is not a problem. But we're just going to do by a show of hands for the vote. Ready?
One hand only, the vote being one hand. All in favor of electing Rob Mathewson as vice president, please signify. Aye. All opposed? Mr. Lowe? Not opposed? Okay. All in favor of one Eric Eskelson? Eskelson, not Escalon. Eskelson. For the position of treasurer, please signify by raising a hand.
Secretary.
Secretary, sorry, not giving away the treasury, secretary. Thank you, Mr. Eskelson, congratulations.
Anybody opposed?
Anyone opposed?
Oh, just gotta do the formalities.
Ex officio Lowe has gotten more agreeable as time goes on. This is nice. Thank you. Well, congratulations and thank you for your willingness to serve.
To our new board members.
And in keeping with elections, honoraria, and other recognitions, SEVA has a longstanding recognition for our super electric vehicle advocate each year. We have not caught every single year, but we try to catch the good years. And this was a good year after a few tough years. And when we made the call for nominations, of course, it was crickets as usual, but Reliable Grace piped up very quickly. How about Phil? Phil has been tirelessly coming up with ideas and organizing car shows, including the XXX Car Show and others for many, many years, and giving ideas to anyone who would listen and those who will not as well. Phil is not here tonight, and that turned out to be a good thing, because little did Grace know that she had already been nominated from multiple corners, and even the aforementioned Phil would have to agree that our super electric vehicle advocate of 2023 is Grace Reamer.
I called him yesterday and said, "Oh, say, you got the trophy? You bringing the trophy?" I was reminding him.
Yes. So, for 2023, Grace Reamer, SEVA Vice President and energetic leader on legislative issues and charging infrastructure. I think she single-handedly converted the OEMs to adopt the Tesla charging standard.
Now I gotta find a place for it.
Right.
Yeah.
She gets to keep it for 1 year only.
Yep. That's right.
And we know where you live, so we're going to get it back. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I will look forward to turning this over to one of our other very deserving people, such as Phil. Next year it might be Phil's turn. All right. But now I think we're going to move on to policy updates, right?
You have the floor.
I got the microphone, actually. That's the important part. So, and we did have a weekly update go out yesterday. I don't know if any of you saw it. There's not much happening in Olympia right now because most of the EV bills that we were looking at have died. They did not get out of committee. It is a short legislative session this year because it's an election year. All our lawmakers are up for election in November. And so they're in a hurry to get done fast so they can start fundraising. A number of bills have gone by the wayside.
Constitution, it's an even numbered year.
Yeah, exactly. But we do still have some bills in play. The Senate Bill 5812 is the one that requires studying best practices for responding to electric vehicle fires and coming up with guidelines for emergency responders. And that is actually passed the full House. It got through the House on a unanimous vote, the Senate, a 49-0 vote. So that shows that that's probably going to go through. It is in the House now. It does have a hearing on the 15th, which is coming up on Thursday, 4 p.m. in the House Transportation Committee. If anybody wants to chime in on that, send your lawmakers an email, give them a little call on the phone, go down there and testify. You can testify online too. It'd be good to get that one through actually and get something done this year.
Yes, this unanimous vote signifying that they can all agree these newfangled EVs are dangerous fire traps compared to the reliable gasoline vehicles to which we are accustomed, and we need new regulation. Yes, Jeff?
I just want to say that you can sign on, vote to testify online,
yes,
but you don't have to say anything, but you can check in favor or against a particular bill, and they pretty much just count who's in favor, how many in favor, how many.
And I would encourage you to do that. It takes like 30 seconds to just go and click on the link and say, I want to testify, I want to just show my support as yes or no. And the more of those that rack up, that really makes a big difference in how they're going to vote. It's true. Ledge.wa.gov, absolutely.
Are we advocating a particular policy decision on this particular policy matter?
Well, there has been two schools of thought on that policy matter, because there's some people that believe that there's a certain faction that wants to highlight the danger of electric vehicles and, oh yes, that they catch fire. Well, of course, they catch fire much less than gas vehicles, and it's usually in the event of a serious collision, which anything will catch fire. But there's also a lot of people who believe that this is a good thing, that if we're wanting to promote electric vehicles, then we really need to make sure that our first responders are up to speed and prepared and funded to deal with the large number of electric vehicles that are going to be on the road and probably running into things once in a while. So it's probably something that we do want to have passed. It's going to at least highlight the fact that we have a large number of EV adoption folks in this state. So yeah. Then we have House Bill 1368, which is the electric school bus issue, and that is actually progressing. It did pass the full House vote. It was divided, though. It was 58 to 39, so that was pretty much on partisan lines, unfortunately, with Democrats favoring moving to electric school buses. That is great. It has been referred to the Senate, and we don't have a hearing scheduled on it yet, but we do hope that it's going to progress in the Senate, and we'd love to get people to chime in on that one and say, yes, let's get some healthier, better transportation for our kids to school by converting to electric school buses, for sure. And then you'll be glad to know, well, probably not glad to know, that the two bills, the anti-Rivian bills, one in the House and one in the Senate, that would ban the direct sales of vehicles in Washington. Not sure how it would affect Tesla at this point. It might. The way it's written, it's hard to tell. But that one is passed through the committees in both the House and the Senate, and they've gone to the Rules Committee, which is the last stop before the full body votes on it. So that vote could come at any time. Do expect it to probably be contested, but there are a lot of Democrats supporting this too, unfortunately. They're going to really need to hear from folks that, you know, we know the dealers have a lot of money and are paying you to vote for them, but we need to make sure that people have the choice of a Rivian. It's just absolutely ridiculous that you cannot walk into this store and ask, how much does that truck cost? It's totally crazy that Washington restricts that. And people who I tell that to just say, wait, that can't be the law. How can that be legal? Well, I agree. It should not be legal. So if there's anything we can do to stop these bills from progressing any further, that would be important. So keep that in mind. I'll let you know when the next hearing comes up. And then finally, we have Senate Bill 6304, and this is implementing some of the recommendations of that transportation electrification strategy that we were all following last year, and they finally came up with some recommendations, and they're looking at maybe implementing a few of them this year, not very many. The one that we really are interested in is the direct sales by dealers. There's actually a provision in there that allows for limited sales directly, only electric vehicles and only by manufacturers who don't make any other cars, just electric. So that's something we really, really want to support, because if that goes through, it could help negate some of the effects of those other two bills.
Well, 6304.
6304.
But does that include the Rivian bill? So certain provisions.
That is the Rivian bill. Yeah.
6304 is the Rivian bill.
Yeah, it includes certain provisions of the transportation electrification strategy,
right, yeah,
which is a much bigger picture looking at all of the things the state would need to do to transition to electric vehicles.
Well, so the Rivian bill is one of the certain provisions that is included.
Yes, that's right. Good. Yes, go ahead.
In your latest email, does it say what the that we should vote yes for that?
No, that is one of the things that I have not included in policy updates, is telling you how to vote. I would hope that we all want to support something like that, but there might be people who say, yeah, there's something in it I don't like, I don't want to support that. But if you would like guidance from the board about how we would like you to testify on that, I think we could manage that. I think that would be just fine. Is everybody okay with that? All right, fantastic.
And that relates to one of Rob's initiatives to have a few more committee chairs where we will make more formal recommendations in a written, studied format on said issues. Take hard positions. Yes, sir.
I just want to point out to everybody that one of the things that caused Grace to get this award is that when she sends out these emails, everything you need to click on is already there. It's in it. You can read the text. You can go right to a place to respond. So read
Thank
it
you.
and click on it.
Thanks, Eric. Excellent.
Anything more on policy?
That was it.
Okay, a couple of related policy issues. I have been serving on the state's electric vehicle battery management study. Yet another Full Employment Act for consultants who don't have any experience with EV batteries, but it has been interesting because there are people on this 27-person committee who believe that individuals without business licenses should be banned from touching EV batteries because they're dangerous. They catch fire, as we all know. There are those who want to impose a circular economy extended producer responsibility model, meaning you would not be allowed to go to the salvage auction and buy a car to harvest the battery and work on it yourself because Nissan would have already been forced to take it back to their recycling plant. There are those on the committee who want the state to set up a logistics program where they have their own trucks collecting EV batteries and consolidating them for proper recycling, aka the old state liquor stores. Every idea under the sun has been discussed in this group thus far, and there's strong representation from some of the OEMs. Interestingly, it was Toyota that was most vocal about saying that individual consumers have no business accessing or touching EV batteries because they are such a presence in the EV space. Redwood Materials, J.B. Straubel's battery recycling startup in California, was represented, as is the entity formerly known as Toxco, right across the border in Trail, BC, that had to change their name after a series of lithium battery fires in their scrap pile. So it's an interesting issue that we're tracking. No pending public comment opportunities, but SEVA has been represented at the table. Another policy issue at the state level that just got punted is the Department of Agriculture was charged with imposing a requirement that all even level 2 charging stations be equipped with credit card readers. This was done in the name of equity because we know the unbanked all carry credit cards rather than establishing a debit account or calling a 1-800 number to get a charging session initiated. I administer several charging networks and know that the RFID cards attached to debit accounts are by far the most reliable method of paying for a charge versus real-time communications in the cloud, especially if you're trying to swipe a card in a card reader. That's where the most billing glitches happen. So that requirement from the State Department of Agriculture is on hold, as is the requirement that we buy a sticker from Washington State Department of Agriculture to register our EVSE. But unlike a gas pump, where an inspector shows up and verifies that a gallon is indeed a gallon and that you were charged the right price for the gallon, there would be no QA on this. We would just pay, I believe it was $19 a year to have a sticker. So
That's on hold, right?
that's on hold as well, but it was to have taken effect January 1st. So we've EV drivers, we've got targets on our back and dollar signs in the eyes of regulators and associated businesses. So we do need to stay on top of these issues. Any questions about the policy issues for discussion?
We'll have another month of sessions, so.
Yeah. Well, Scott, I would like to take you up on that offer to give a little report out on the EVA meeting, the National Electric Vehicle Association.
Okay.
Would you be willing to share a little more?
I don't know how much more I can share, but I'll try.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, so it was my first time going to a national meeting for the Electric Vehicle Association, and I did it because I have a very skeptical partner who said, "You're never going to fit in that little car. It's impossible." So I was standing in line behind a fella that is 6'8", and I will post the photograph at some point on the website in the next week. Yeah, I hope. Anyway, the meeting was hosted by the Aptera folks, and it was at their main office, and we got to gander at a couple of their prototypes, Gamma and Delta, and we got to see some of the parts that go into the production intent vehicles, and they showed slides and gave out information about some of the body parts, which are made of this stamped resin infused carbon fiber stuff that's being so the body parts are manufactured primarily in Italy by a company that makes supercar bodies and chassis, like McLaren, and I don't know all the other ones. You can look them up. But check out Aptera. The area behind the two seats is wedge-shaped. The deck lid is covered in solar panels, as is the roof and the hood. There's not quite 6 feet from the back of the seat backs to the rear hatch. If I bend my knees a little bit and curl up, I can stretch out sort of in the back. So it's like those people that have a Tesla and fold the seat backs down and go into camp mode and do weekends in their car. The Aptera appears to be going very strongly in the ability to do that sort of thing as well. They're going to have a little tent even, so the hatch is up and you put this tent around the back of the car. Super low drag, quiet, screens, just like all the other cool EVs are doing. 3 wheels, 2 in front, 1 in the back, for those of you that aren't familiar. There will be no tax credit available for those unless the legislature changes, because it's considered a motorcycle. It uses a motorcycle-sized plate. Am I running on too long?
That's great.
Okay. Super lightweight. The launch model is going to have a battery of about 45 kilowatt hours, which translates roughly to the 2nd generation Leaf.
The 2018 third.
2018, oh, 3rd gen.
Right.
It's expected to have a roughly 450 mile range on 45 kilowatt hours. So instead of the 28 kilowatt hours per 100 miles of a Tesla 3 or Y, it's something like 13 and a fraction kilowatt hours per 100 miles. But that's astounding. My little whiz-bang Mitsubishi has a 16 kilowatt hour battery and goes less than 60 miles. At freeway speeds, if I turn the heat on, I don't even know anymore. I'm afraid to go that far. One of the interesting things about Aptera has been that they are trying to stay open source and maintain a right to repair for everything for the car. So if you prang one of the fenders or the wheel cover for one of the wheels, you can just order a part online for the car from the factory, and they ship it to you UPS or in the mail, and you do your own repair. To me, that's a big deal. And they're talking about an open source driving assist package from a company whose name I have forgotten. Maybe somebody that's been following them already knows. It's an AI driver assist package.
Company is called Comma AI.
Comma AI.
Comma
Okay.
AI is an add-on self-driving
Right.
for dozens of models.
So I'm not all that computer savvy, so I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm looking forward to learning more about that too. I was an early deposit, or whatever you call it. I put a deposit down on their first iteration back in the 2008-2009 thing before they went. They refunded my money. They came back online in 2018 or 2019, and I said, "Oh, maybe it's going to be real this time." I gave them another deposit right away. So I'm in the launch edition, not the investor group. And there you go. More later. The people in San Diego and Carlsbad who put on and helped with the association meeting and the meet and greets and let's have a coffee clatch at the supercharger station. There were dozens of really cool people. One last thing, one of the guys I met there is from Memphis, Tennessee. He's one of the investors. He is a very savvy PR person. He's a contractor for the Navy after years in service, and now he's a civilian contractor. He is trying to encourage the national legislature and the states to extend tax credits to cars like the Aptera, as well as electric motorcycles and e-bikes. So if anybody's interested, I will try and get that contact information and his form letter posted to the site soon. Any questions? Go
Yes.
ahead. As awesome as the vehicle promises to be, you've been at this for 18 years now. Do you think it's going to be real this time or not? Do you have a feeling for that?
I think it's going to be real, because I saw the stamping press video, and they had a stack of parts, and I said, okay, how many parts are on that pallet? And he says, that's 20, that's 50, that's 20, that's 20. So they have enough parts, body tubs, roof, front and rear end, for I think 50 vehicles. And they're going to put together rolling chassis in Italy for those, and they're calling them their production intent vehicles. So it looks pretty real to me.
Any news on a launch, when they might start deliveries?
They're being
This year,
cagey.
next year?
They're being careful.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and that is another manufacturer who cannot sell cars in Washington. So that's another reason we need to get some legislation passed so we can buy Apteras.
It's easy to get to San Diego.
Well, there's a motorcycle. Is it covered under the same thing, being a motorcycle? It may be different.
Three-wheelers in Washington
Oh, yeah.
are considered
No,
motorcycles.
it's the same because it's for direct sales of any vehicles.
We have to wear a helmet inside. No, both of those. A helmet is not required, and you don't have to have a motorcycle endorsement.
All right. Well, we have a very enthusiastic Archimoto owner in the club not present tonight. Let's hope Aptera has a better fate. This crowd's looking kind of sleepy, and ain't nobody here recognized that it's Fat Tuesday, so it's time for some throws. Who has heard of Electric Era, a Seattle startup? You get hat. Who knows what Electric Era is doing? Oh, battery buffered DC fast charging. A big box of lithium iron phosphate in between a small or former level 2 charging circuit will get you a DC fast station. And they even made it onto King 5 News, but they were introduced as Electric Air by the pretty reporter. That's how it happens. So who liked it?
Good idea, sign me up.
Good idea. You get a hat. All right. No, it's a great thing for the grid. It's a great thing for emergency resiliency. It's a great use for Second Life EV batteries. And it was, the first one I used was in 2012 on the original Electric Avenue in Portland. Marketed by a Japanese company called Kanematsu, but actually built by a Skunk Works in Portland. We have a famous Skunk Works here in town. I do not see anyone representing it tonight that has built a number of high-potent electric race cars other than Charlie. Do we know that you work for them?
For who?
Hancock Lane Racing?
No.
Yeah. Okay. No big announcements from them recently, huh?
Not that I can share.
Not that he can share. He knows lots of stuff, but he'd have to kill us. But they look up the F-100 Illuminator. Wasn't that the name of it that Biden drove with Jay Leno? The Ford pickup with 2 Mach-E drivetrains underneath it. Lots of cool stuff, and it's happening just right down the road here. Lots of neat stuff going on. Well, let us get on to a very special announcement from Jeff Finn, who has been shepherding the nascent Historic Electric Vehicle Foundation, originally out of Port Angeles, now out of Kingman, Arizona. No.
The Historic Electric Vehicle Foundation is a nonprofit charitable organization chartered here in the state of Washington. The president of the foundation is Kent Bakke, a longtime SEVA member. And so I have an announcement to make. I'm kind of going to go rogue tonight since he said he couldn't be here. But before I do that, I want to say that Scott and I were like ships passing in the night down in Carlsbad. I didn't know he was there, and anyway, it was kind of a bittersweet weekend for me. The stuff at Aptera was amazing. The CEO's attention to detail and the things, the innovation that they're putting into that vehicle just hadn't sunk in before. One of the best examples is that traditional wiring harnesses are 40 to 60 pounds, and they found a way to eliminate most of it by, it just overcomplicates the motorcycle genre. But also while we were there, the weekend was filled with a lot of activities, and one of them was visiting QC Charge, which is the baby of Tony Williams. And a dozen years ago, Tony, in his plug-in hybrid, traveled from BC to BC. And I had the privilege of organizing the welcome committee for SEVA when he arrived here with his cute little daughter in the shotgun. And so this tour, I got to go and reacquaint myself with Tony. That was a dozen years ago. And wanted to kind of renew that acquaintance. And it's not a good story, but he did do a 10-year anniversary run of the same BC to BC. Unfortunately, he only had a picture of his daughter, who he informed me was deceased. And she was rising star, and I kind of asked them about, is she in college now? She would have been probably accepted to the Naval Academy, really going strong, and she ended up with an older person taking some opioids that was laced with fentanyl. And then he got asked the same question when the big group was there, and he had to repeat it. So that was hard. We all want our children to grow up and be wonderful. So tonight's big announcement is, well, one of the things, I'm in contact with Chris Anthony, the CEO of Aptera, because of this innovation that they're doing with the vehicle, and the foundation, which currently has the Route 66 EV Museum in Kingman, is in the process of developing and implementing a brand new electric vehicle museum, probably in Kingman, because it's been a good relationship. So we're promoting the people joining as members, $25 a year, and tonight and tonight only, I am unauthorized to offer you a piece of potential unobtainium if you join. And it's $25 a year. You're going to get a founding member membership pin, like the one I'm wearing, like the one Jay's wearing, and I don't know if Rob put his on yet. Yeah, so anyway, they look like this. You can go online at HEEF.org and join, and I'll be sitting over there, and I can see into the membership roles, and I'll give you a pin while you're here tonight.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff, for championing this effort for quite a while now.
QC Charge has just opened an office in Portland.
QC Charge? I'm not sure. I know their much anticipated Nissan Leaf replacement pack has been long delayed. Tony didn't tell you anything about that, did he?
No.
No.
What was really amazing was that piece that he engineered to save Teslas and the RAV4 EVs with Tesla Drive and the Mercedes with the Tesla Drive from incurring some significant expensive damage in the motor. And I think it's hard, it's like $500.
Oh, that'd be worth a technical presentation soon. Okay, my former counterpart at EV Rides down in Portland, who also did Leaf battery upgrades, was set to start repping the QC Charge Leaf battery solution, though that has not come to fruition last I heard. Yes, Mark?
That was supposed to all happen last fall, wasn't it?
Yes, it were.
And they were supposed to have like an 80 kilowatt hour pack.
And there's a one in China now that I haven't gotten any firsthand reports from yet,
Okay, all right.
using large modules. But on to events. We had an event recently, and we have royalty in the room from the Tesla Club. His Honor Mayor Dick Murray held a Tesla Curious event and managed to strong arm a tap room to open up on a Sunday night in fine Catholic fashion. Yes. And we had a rock roaring event. 3 Tesla reps came, and I made them writhe with pointed questions. Anything to say about that?
So, yeah. Ooh, sorry about that.
Shocking.
So, yeah. And of course, the 3 Tesla reps that brought down the refreshed Model 3 for everyone to look at was racing me to get back to 5. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, so they ended up with probably about 45 people showing up at that event, for anybody from Tesla owners to Bolt owners to EV curious people. And we had a pretty good turnout. We had talked questions, asked questions, and all this kind of fun stuff, and had a good turnout. And I'm trying to recruit him as a chapter lead for down there. So, And also, and for those of you who don't know, I'm president of the Tesla Owners Washington Club. So we do have an official club for the state of Washington that's officially recognized by Tesla. And coming up this Saturday, I do have an event for club members only at the Renton Tesla location to actually test drive the new refreshed Highland Model 3, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so that's also coming up this Saturday, and I've got a charger chat at the new Tukwila service superchargers that are on South Center Parkway this following weekend. And starting in April, we're trying to do monthly scenic drives with the club. So got a bunch of things coming up. So yep.
Teresa, can you and or Nate tell a little bit about the event next week here?
I don't know a lot of the details, but is David still here?
David or Nate?
Yes.
Can tell us.
Yes. Yeah, because
hopefully they come back.
Hey Nate,
okay.
Can we have you for over here for just a moment, please? To talk about the event on the 21st next week?
Yeah.
No, we're going to have an event called the EV Landscape on the 21st.
Sorry, we'll have an event on called the EV Landscape on the 21st. So Seattle City Light will be in here, Eco Infinity Nation, gosh, more people than I can remember at the moment. But that is from 6 to 7:30 officially. So please join us if you can for that. That'd be great. Here. Yeah, we're trying to do more and more events here since obviously we can't talk about pricing or anything else. So plus it's great to get the community together. That's right.
Yeah, but we can talk about price, can't we?
It's like they can't, but we can.
We can share, yes.
So yeah, so it's like yes, and so it's like so you can always be a member of SEVA, Tesla Owners. You can be a member of Tesla Owners Washington. We do have a yearly fee as well for our club as well. So yep.
All right. Also noteworthy to note, we have a historic, folkloric, and for sale vehicle outside. The first fast charging electric RV in the nation that I got to fly down to LA and help build during the first week that the pandemic was blowing up, and has been part of the PacWesty fleet for the last couple of years, is outside, and it is now for sale. And things that make me feel old, Scott, who first showed up here at, what was it, age 14 or 15 with the 76-mile-an-hour electric death bike? 16 is my replacement at PacWesty, and would you like to say anything about it?
Yeah.
All right. Go around the front, Scott.
So we have I think Jay mentioned we have the Tofino here for sale. It's for sale for $5,000 less than you can get one without already being a camper. It's an empty Ram ProMaster convert to electric. So it's $115,000. It's a bit spendy, but that's what it's for sale for, and it's here if anyone wants to check it out.
How many miles?
How many miles does it have on it? Or range?
What's its range? Sorry.
The range is 120 miles on the freeway, but like 175 on like back roads. But if you're going on a road trip to California, which Corey and I did 2 summers ago, it's like 80 miles is your kind of like per DC fast charging stop. But a DC fast charge is at 200 kilowatts, like a Model 3, so it's pretty quick.
80 miles when you're up against the limiter.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good, thank you.
All right. Any chance we're gonna get a peek at that Jag conversion at SEVA in the near future?
In the near future.
In the near
It's
future.
delivered on Friday.
Oh, come on, tell them what it is.
So we're working on a 1973 Jaguar E-Type that has 72.8 kilowatt hours of batteries in it, 200-mile range, 500 newton meters of torque at the motor, but a lot more at the wheels. And it's really quick. We're almost done with it, and it's going to the customer on Friday. So we'll bring it here at some point in the future.
Identical almost to the one that Prince William drives, which you take the top down on that and you'll understand why he doesn't wear a toupee. All right, events. Let's schedule some events. We got the Mercer Island Earth Day on the line and a few others.
Well, I'll talk about real quickly the ones that I know, because we've got to wrap up here real soon. But we have been, it's kind of quiet during the winter, but we usually start right around April Earth Day with outreach events. And we've been known for doing events just about every weekend in the summer throughout the region. So I hope we have a lot of interested people getting out there, talking to folks, giving your personal experience, sharing your car. The Drive Electric Earth Month is now the national event going on. It is not just a day or a week anymore. It's the whole month of April is Drive Electric Earth Month. I hope that some folks like Rivian and other people might be interested in hosting events and having us come in with some cars and talk to people and share lots of the information that we have. So keep your eyes open for events that are happening that we can piggyback off of. The Mercer Island's one of them that we'll probably be at again this year. And after that, well, the big one's in June. That's Greenwood. It's going to be the end of the month, so it's actually the 5th Saturday, I believe, like the 29th or something of June this year. Yeah, 29th. And it's going to be a little bit different. That's going to have some extended hours on the north end, and then there's going to be a parade. And I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but it's going to be a little bit different. Last year we had, I think, 45 vehicles there from SEVA, as well as the Tesla contingent, so over 50 cars on this one block, and I hope that we can do that again this year. That would be fantastic. It's great to get as many different kinds of cars as possible. I don't want to see a whole lineup of Model 3s there. Nobody wants to see that. 1 or 2 is good, but we want to see all the other vehicles too. And we hope that folks like Rivian and Lucid can come and participate as well, although they can't talk about prices or do test drives or anything, but hopefully they can let people sit in their car, if nothing else. But it's up to us owners to be able to help them do their job, since they are restricted from so much they can do. And then other events that are coming up, those are the ones that I know of right now. Drive Electric Week is, I believe it's September 27th to October 6th this year. And so we would love to be able to be out as many events as possible and get as many things going as we can during that week. So not too soon to start thinking about what we can do for Drive Electric Week. Good thing about those two events, Drive Electric Earth Month and Drive Electric Week, is that the national website run by Plug-in America is where we can go and advertise these events, and people can sign up for them all in one place. So it does a lot of the marketing for us, which is awesome. So we need to see what kinds of events that we can join or put on. So I'm retiring from putting on events because really nobody wants to see my Tesla Model Y anymore. There's so many of them on the road. So I want to have other people come and share their cars and help organize and reach out. So we're going to be reaching out for volunteers in the next couple of weeks. We're going to put our committees together and send out invitations for you to join and participate in and help plan things like events for our events committee. So please be watching your inbox.
Isn't this the second job you've retired from in as many years?
No, I retired from Tesla 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years removed from Tesla. Okay.
From vice president.
That's
tonight.
excellent.
That's
Yes. And the last official function as VP. All right.
My last official function, actually, is to ask our 2 new board members to come up here, please, because I would like to
we were going to do the
present
initiation
you.
afterwards.
I would like to present you with a new badge that says you are the secretary now.
Oh, thank you.
And Rob, you get one that says vice president on it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right.
As you no doubt noticed, Rob is an organizational guru and may aim to keep me straight, so stay tuned. Got a little bit of show and tell. Those of you YouTubers ever watch Dala's EV Repair? Well, he has the prototype CCS2 to CHAdeMO adapter, and this is the one-of-a-kind CCS1 to CHAdeMO adapter. Of course, he immediately made YouTube videos while in testing. I'm not going to say much about it until I'm finished testing and it's actually working. And if there's a Leaf owner who is good with software, I would love some help in logging the tests with this and trying it out. This device is technically illegal on EVgo and most other networks, but what are they going to do, stop you? I did stop by a Nissan dealership on the way here, and the guy I trust behind the parts counter says, yes, it's true, Nissan Leaf drivers will be getting NACS adapters. I'm sorry, Aria drivers will be getting NACS adapters, but Leaf drivers are still out of luck. They will not be getting anything like this. So stay tuned for developments on this. And any of you amateur EVSE mechanics, you can carry this in your back pocket. The original Altoids computer is back. This is a go, no-go EVSE tester that I actually use in the field and haven't died yet. So it's fun. Any announcements for the good of the order? Thank you to the future of SIVA for bringing their Valentines. Thank you for coming and being patient. I'm sorry this wasn't all the event it cracked up to be. Nobody else wore purple and gold except Billy did it, and he didn't know why.
I retired. They keep giving me these sweatshirts for working there.
All right. One last call for announcements. Good to the order events. Yes, sir.
Raleigh.
I got a few books. If somebody wants this, Joel, which is a book about electric cars. This is Converted.
The original Mike Brown book.
This is a really good book if you think you want to convert something. You can learn all the basics. Here's a do-it-yourself lithium book. So if anybody wants these, just
Are you selling them or giving them
away.
Ah, yay. Good job. Thanks, Raleigh.
Okay, dibs on lithium. But I've still got my original Mike Brown book, which came in a spiral binding long before he actually had a book binder. He converts a 1979 Plymouth Arrow in that book.
Really?
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. Please sample the merchandise. Sorry the cocktail hour has closed, but great first meeting in our new venue. Thanks all for coming.
Jay, I'm curious how